Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know. Spending time all alone, sending my songs through the phone, dreaming of a better home, while focused on trying to hone this craft, witchcraft. I hope the brujas let this last.
I don't know if the earth is painted blue.
That was great sounds of Watsa. That was great sounds of Watts with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, live from New Haven Independent Studio. Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. Easy Blues, you're better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us today on Behind the Brand?
Ladies and gentlemen, we need to really, truly understand something because there is beauty everywhere in the world. And when you can fully tap into that beauty, that is one of the most important things. When you can take that beauty and you can transform it, not only into something that we hold deeply into our souls, but also something that can help pod the pocket just a little bit, that is one of the most fantastic things. And I will tell you right now, this person today is a living, breathing art piece because, man, that shirt is absolutely amazing. And I'm not kidding. I like the shirt. What?
I'm not mad at you.
Okay, good. Thank you for not being mad at me. I don't like when you're mad at me. It makes me sit in the corner when he's mad at me. It's bad.
Oh, my goodness. Too much info right now. Lord.
A little timeout.
I get a little timeout. Yeah, you ever see Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
It's like that.
Do not put me on blast.
Off to a great start.
This is before the holiday. Goodness.
Well, like Santa says.
Like, what does Santa say?
No, I can't say it. We're on air.
Okay. But this is not about us.
So why don't you tell us what it's about?
It's about Raheem Nelson. Continue, sir.
Well, I want
Jesus.
everyone to put their hands together. Not if you're driving. If you're driving, please keep your hands at 10 and 2.
Safe, please.
We don't need any accidents. But mentally, I want you to put your hands together for the amazing, the fantastic, the incredible Raheem Nelson. Welcome, benvenue.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Welcome. Now, what's super, super interesting is not only are you an artist, but you're an entrepreneur as well.
Yes.
And we've seen in this show 1.5 million times where there's this incredible dichotomy between the two. Mm-hmm. Because you have to stick true to your artistic integrity.
Yeah.
But you also need to get paid.
Exactly.
How do you wedge that gap? Because that's a pretty big gap sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that you started with that question too. Excellent first round question. I think for me, that's just one of the things I pride myself on doing is, I guess you could say, gaining mastery over that. Like as soon as, even before, I graduated college and I went to college at the School of Visual Arts, which is an amazing institution. And at the same time, I felt like, I think it's an institutional-wide problem where they don't necessarily prepare you to be a living artist. Mm-hmm. So that was a trial by fire for myself, where I went to the Educational Center for the Arts, then I went to Wilbur Cross High School, I went to college, and I was just kind of like, all right, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. And when I was in college, my, I was going for cartooning, but then I kind of went into fine arts and then digital art, and I was like, okay, how do I make a living at this? And it took me a long time to get to a point where, brand recognition, name recognition, and demanding a certain price point, and then going through, I guess, that learning curve of well, I undercharged for this job, or this client kind of is doing this, but I should have spoken up earlier. So there's a responsibility on me as an artist to do that research and do that fact checking, or it's okay, I can charge X amount of money for this service because I have X amount of years in the game. This is what I've done, and this is the kind of reputation that I have now. And, I love working with great clients, and even the clients where I get some pushback on my price or whatever, it's no, let me educate you on why I'm charging this, because there's just always a reason behind what I do.
Well, and that's actually, I love how we've gotten to there organically, because a lot of people don't like to talk about this particular topic, but I really love how we've gotten here organically.
Yeah.
How do you evolve your price point? Because here I'm not a visual artist at all. I'm loud, but I'm not a visual artist at all. So say I wanted to get into something along those lines, my price point would be much lower than yours. You have all the different training and stuff like that. Because a lot of people don't seem to understand that piece of art that they're looking at. It's not the piece of art that's there.
Right.
It's the hours of school.
Yes.
It's the hours of no sleep.
Right.
It's the hours of doing it over again. It's the all of this investment of your time that has gone through there. And hey, let me put it to you like this. Yes, I think federally we're looking at still about $7.50 an hour, but really it's like $15 an hour for a good living wage. How do you judge that, and how do you evolve that? Because it's it blows my mind.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll give you an example, and I brought a ton of stuff with me today. I brought my iPad.
Visual aids.
Awesome.
Yeah, visual
I love
aids.
visual aids.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Visual aids and coffee.
I'm gonna turn this around a little bit so you can see it.
Of course.
So it's my wife there,
Okay.
Raisha, and she's amazing. She's also a creative entrepreneur. We're in business together. She has a few brands to support artists as well. So what I do in terms of having a price point, I look at not just the training, not just the education, but I look at different achievements. Like, okay, I've hit this mark. Okay, the price is going to go up now because I have more notoriety. This is in Times Square for a conference last year called NFT NYC. And I got heavy into NFTs last year. I was invited to have my artwork shown in Times Square, which is a magnificent achievement that I'm still digesting as an artist.
Word.
So I'll zoom in on the piece here, and it was also a ticket for their branding. So you would randomly get a ticket assigned to you. So I would be on, Twitter or whatever, and then people would tell me, oh, well, I got Raheem Nelson's piece and blah, blah, blah. And it was like this entry ticket for them to get to the show, and it was more exposure for me. So just having that in their branding and then having the artwork in Times Square, that registered to me, okay, now the price point just naturally has to increase because I've achieved this level now.
Right. And that's a huge point is I always call it leveling up. And obviously we come from a video game, world now.
Huge gamer.
Yeah,
over here.
so you're always sitting there and you're trying to level up. You're trying to get your character up to that point in
Exactly.
which you can charge, we won't say the most amount of money, but at least a money that in which everything is comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like the story we love to tell in this show in particular is success is not a house in MTV Cribs. Success is being able to live well by just creating your art and putting your art out there.
Definitely.
And that's something that a lot of people lose sight of because, we are in a culture that, is more.
Yeah.
And I think this goes, how do they like it? How do they like it? I'm not quite sure. But, how are you able to manage? Because, again, your look is on point.
Thanks. I have to talk about the look, too.
Yeah,
I got to
let's talk-
shout out a friend
Definitely.
of mine.
Yes.
He knows I was getting interviewed today. My friend Matt Vanover, he has a clothing company called Bard's Clothing, and he does full bespoke in everything. And
wow.
For me, where I struggle is like with getting dress shirts that fit off the rack. I can be a real pain. So I talked to him and we connected, and he was like, oh, I do bespoke and blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm definitely going to commission something from you at a certain point because there are things that I am willing to invest money in.
Right.
Just like as an artist, if I'm working with clients, they're willing to invest money in me. So it's like, in a sense, I'm giving back to the artistry. And I have a huge respect for dressing well and the craft that goes behind it. So Matt has this company. He creates bespoke clothes, and we collaborated on this shirt. We went over fabrics together
Oh, wow.
and everything. It was amazing. He came to my house and everything because he travels for it. And the funny thing is, like, I don't even like gamble or anything. Like, I've been to Vegas a few times.
I thought
or
you were
whatever.
a card
No,
player.
I get it. I got it because I think of like being an artist and being a creative entrepreneur like it's a form of gambling. Like, okay, I'm going to take this chance in my career here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to do that. And this shirt kind of reflects that ideology to me without necessarily being at the card table or whatever.
Well, hold on. Let me counter on that.
Yeah.
So let's not look at it from gambling.
Right.
Let's look at it for what it truly is. It's
Right.
magic.
Right. Yes.
So there you go.
Yes,
so
yes,
now you're
exactly.
you're a phenomenal magician. You
I
know?
like that.
There
Yeah,
you
I
go.
like
See there.
There you go.
The story's even better.
Brilliant. It's
there
even
you
better.
go. It's
Yeah.
even better, and now it's an extra 25 cents an hour. It's charged because we've hit a new. We've hit a new
Exactly.
thing.
That's the first time you
new
called someone a
achievement.
magician. on this
love
show is
that.
pretty.
I love that. Yeah.
That's only because we've never actually interviewed a magician on the show. All right. This is a call out to all the magicians out there that we haven't had on the show. If you'd
Yeah.
like to come on the show, feel free to hit
Oh,
up Preston,
definitely. It'd be fun.
because I'm not going to answer. But
Oh, we're gonna make that a live one.
That's good.
Grant, I don't want to know where they're pulling the rap out of. I don't. It's a small room, bro. It's a small room.
It's very small. Oh man.
Raheem, you had some artwork on
Yeah.
the tablet.
Yeah.
If the audience can see it for the program because it's live, just like put it like closer to you so we can just see like
Like
What
kind
you-
of hold it.
yeah, so we just like see it on the screen. So we
me
can see
know
it
what
across in there.
works.
Yeah.
Does this work?
Gonna come
like
up.
where should I hold it?
You're going to come up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Closer to your face. There you
Yeah.
go.
Like
Oh,
here.
beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you want to do the Vanna? There you go.
Like
yeah.
that?
Yeah. There you
Okay.
go. Oh.
Cool. So I use a skill called graphic recording.
Mhm.
It's pretty much one of the cornerstones of my art business, where I am going to conferences,
Mhm.
fireside chats, events, and creating artwork on the spot, like infographics live.
That's awesome.
This was a piece I did for the International Festival of Arts and Ideas.
Mm.
People were basically answering a prompt like, what does New Haven mean to you? In like a sentence or something like that. And then
Right.
this is what came out of it.
Yep. Jazz festival in the summer.
Yep.
Growth, exciting, alive, connection, spontaneous. People crossing the street without actually looking and almost getting hit by cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wait, no, that wasn't in there. I'm sorry. My bad. My bad.
Oh, there we go.
And dirt bikes. Oh, okay. Yeah. There you-
Nah, very interesting. Very in detail too.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely detail oriented.
Mm-hmm.
And then so also do pieces like urban landscapes here, like this is Crown Street.
Oh,
yeah, it is.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Now it's so interesting because you mentioned Crown Street and everything like that, and everyone who knows New Haven as a whole
Yeah.
understands that Crown Street is one of the best places for all arts,
Yeah.
especially considering there's a high school for arts right there.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
went to Wilbur Cross. Did you do?
I did.
Did you do ECA as
Yeah,
well?
I did ECA.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to
loved
make
it.
sure because
Yep.
I was
did
like, he didn't
ECA.
go to co-op.
Nope. I did apply, but it ended up working out with
Yeah.
Cross and ECA.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And that's what's one of the most incredible things about New Haven in particular.
Yep.
It's one of the reasons why, 10, almost 12 years ago, we moved out here, to make sure that our kids could have those opportunities. Like right now, both of my guys are in co-op
Mhm.
and killing it. And one of them
Yeah.
is actually in visual arts. It didn't
Cool.
even think he was going to be in visual arts.
Yeah.
And after last Monday, speaking with Ashley Velasquez, he might be the youngest intern at a tattoo parlor.
Oh, that's amazing. Good
So
stuff.
yeah, he's bothering me like crazy about that right now. He's like, when am I going to do that? I was like, when's your Chinese grade going to go up?
Oh man.
Oh yeah, no, you know me, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
You don't just get things because that's cool.
Yeah.
You got to work for it.
Yeah, you gotta earn it.
But it's so interesting because you're going back and forth between the cityscapes and those different aspects.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that your artwork became those tickets.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
It's kind of like your artwork became the letter from Hogwarts.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah.
You're like, oh, or those trading cards. Like, hey, I
Yeah.
got 4 regimes. This is amazing.
Exactly. I love trading cards.
As you now, did you ever think about doing that as well? I know NFTs are very big into that as well, and
Yeah.
that's in a digital world. But did you ever think about doing like the hard copies?
I
of, like,
do love
you
hard
know,
copies, and it's something I want to get back to.
and maybe hard copies of playing cards to do magic tricks on. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
why not?
I'm
Gotta
just
rip off
saying.
the shirt.
Exactly.
So I'm gonna show another travel piece that I'm really proud of too.
Okay.
I
Ooh.
had to take a trip to, like I just had to. I went to Cuba a few years ago.
Okay.
Old Havana.
Ooh.
And they had like these classic cars everywhere. So
Nice.
this was not a painting I did while I was there because there was a concern with the government and everything. Like I don't want to be that guy on a street corner with an iPad. Like what's he trying to do? So
Yeah.
I took a reference photo for it, and then when I got back, I had to paint this classic car. But being able to travel and create art is like one of the most fulfilling things I've ever been able to do. Like I just absolutely love it.
Now, how would you say that you were influenced? Because I see some certain elements from different, like a little bit of Frida.
Yeah.
You know, where are your strongest influence points? And again, you talked about how you got into it in college,
Yeah.
doing cartooning,
Yep.
and then got into the digital form and different things like that. What was that transition like? Because, you know, again, a lot of people don't realize that there are so many different facets to art.
Yeah.
And so many different ways and avenues you can grow in art and actually get paid in art.
Yeah.
I would love to know a little bit more of your story because your story is pretty awesome.
I appreciate it. I'm gonna put this down for a minute too.
No,
He's like, it's heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah. I think for me, it's cartooning meets fine art meets design.
Mhm.
That's usually the wheelhouse I play in, and you know sometimes I'll go to other things as well. But I think the major transition for me was foundation year, my first freshman year at SVA, doing oil paints, because that just really opened me up to a lot of different things. Like it started with Marvel comics and Archie comics growing up, and I would emulate that, and I would look at the storytelling and the design and everything. And when I was looking at like your Picassos and your Da Vinci's and your Fridas and all these other classic fine artists, and then your artists like Warhol and Basquiat, like all those things just kind of like seeped into what I enjoy. And I think I go back to a lot of impressionists when it comes to my work, especially like the live work or the work if I'm traveling. Like it just kind of comes out in this brushy way, and that I kind of refine as I go. And then I always start in like a cartooning way because like I like to sketch, and then I'll just paint over that, and then it becomes like impressionist and stuff. So yeah, just those tend to be like the wheelhouses I play in.
Well, I love how you mentioned that because like I see that picture in the 50s drive-in diner that you'd want to go to, or you know you could see it in River. You mentioned Archie in Riverdale.
Yeah,
I see that like in the diner on the wall.
Yep.
You know, different things like that. So it's pretty awesome. Or as another way you can use that, be like, hey, they just had the Pink Ladies show on Paramount Plus.
Right.
Also on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, myself, Preston, with Long Island Rays, Elm City made EZ BlueZ is in the building. Easy, please tell me more examples of the artwork.
Well, no, it was, you know, because you have that style in which, you know, has the impressionist aspect. You know, you have more the blurred background, and the foreground is much more reality based or realistic based. And I only know all of this because I love tattoos.
See, I love tattoos also. Like I got a full shirt on, but I pretty much got a sleeve.
Yeah, word. Well, I'm covered.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that people go to, be like, do tattoos hurt?
Oh man.
I'm like, no, not at all, not at all. I enjoy falling off my bicycle for 35 minutes at a time. And you know, have you ever had road rash?
Oh man.
Imagine road rash for 5 hours. But enough about me. But see, as you continue to grow and evolve, you know, and now you're into the NFTs, which you said last year you were doing the NFT.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to.
We'll say the NFT banquet or whatever.
Yes, definitely.
Well, how can we make it as grandiose as possible? The NFT awards. You know, so you go to this convention, but now not only did you do such a great job last year that they've called you back this year, and you're gonna have more artwork in Times Square.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be more pictures of like your wife like this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Yeah. So it started with this piece here.
That's
and this
cool.
is the piece actually how we met. We met at Art Space when it was open and everything. She was curating and hosting the show, and I was featured with this piece, which is based on Solange, Beyonce's sister. Yeah. And the whole show was based on her music. So this ended up, it was a group show, but this ended up becoming like the centerpiece of the show. And then we also had it at our wedding, and we also had the reception at Art Space. So like went full circle.
Right.
And then being able to have this piece be shown in Times Square, like really just brought everything home for me. It's like, yep, that piece helped me get married. So here it
Well,
is.
I mean, not only that, but let's talk. Yes, it's based off of Solange, but there's a very similarities between your wife and that photo
exactly,
itself. So
and her daughter as well,
oh,
too. Yeah,
like,
oh.
it's crazy.
I knew
it's crazy.
you before I knew you.
That's the story. That's the story. You got
see,
it.
I already knew
you got
that.
It. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, I
And
appreciate the hustle.
Yeah, definitely. So I went to Paris, right? I took this trip to Europe and everything. It was London, Paris, Barcelona, and Paris was the middle stop. And this whole piece is inspired by going to the Louvre, seeing all these beautiful pieces. I was like, okay,
cool.
how can I take this and like add some black iconography to it?
Right.
And then I came back and I did that.
Well, it's so interesting too because now this season of Ink Master, they just had a tattoo artist who didn't make it through.
Yeah.
But he's now incorporating more black themes in American traditional.
Oh, cool.
So it's a whole new style.
Nice.
And I think that's the similar aspect of, how can we look at this? And if we're being honest, and I'll take all the heat for this, but if we're being honest, that's probably what the person actually looked like. I'm just being real.
Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I love being educated. That
causing
photo,
so many troubles.
that photo you just showed us, that we just saw recently, he should just call it NFT a love story because there's so much behind it.
Yeah.
There's
you're not
so
wrong
much.
about that. There's so much
Behind
so
that.
that will lead me to the next piece. Me actually
Let's go.
painting her.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
see?
a
There it
painting?
is. Yeah, right.
Yo,
It's a painting.
you did that by hand.
I did this by hand. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
There's so much we don't know about the human mind, man, because oh my God. Wow. Now I can tell it's a painting, but like farther out.
Yeah, and I love that.
Oh goodness.
Just how that goes
Yeah.
hand in hand. Like you can still see the brushstrokes, which I like, but if you zoom out, it gets mistaken for a photograph. I don't necessarily see it that way myself,
Right.
But I can appreciate those that do.
Well, and that's one of the biggest things is for all the artists that are out there, and no matter what your medium is, you have a point of view and perspective of what your art's going to be.
Absolutely.
But the minute you release that into the world, you have to leave enough room for other people to put their own attachments into it, to put their own
Exactly.
meanings behind it.
Yep.
I remember when Pearl Jam had first come out, and they continuously asked, what Jeremy was about. And then Eddie Vedder was like, well, it's about whatever the audience wants it to be about. Because it's no longer our song.
Yeah.
It's your guys' song now. And I feel that's the same exact way.
Yeah.
Except when it comes to my stuff, because my stuff's about me, and because I'm slightly narcissistic.
Slightly?
Slightly.
Okay. We gotta break it down. There has to be different forms of narcissism because you're definitely not playing it off well.
No, I'm just loud. I'm just so insecure that I wear loud clothes and wear loud colors. This is all just coming from the deficit and how much I don't like myself.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
Here we go.
Well, speaking of self-esteem, let's talk about these kids, man. He does a lot of great stuff for children. You work for the Milford Arts Council. Just break that down, just your whole story, just working with them, and just your whole journey, past, present, and a little bit about the future that you have with this council that you're dealing with right now.
Sure. So the past comes from me working at James Hill House High School
Awesome.
as a special needs paraprofessionals in a resource room and everything.
Oh, wow.
And just really great work I was doing with the school. And it just got to a point where I was like, okay, how can I make even more of a difference? So in the summers tend to be difficult as a paraprofessional. Like you get paid during the year, you don't get paid during the summer. You have to find other work.
Right.
So it's like I was like Ubering, freelancing, doing whatever I needed to do to make sure the mortgage was paid and everything. And then just hopping on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere I needed to go, just kind of declaring. And my wife helped me out with this a lot too.
Yeah.
Declaring like, hey, I'm looking for a job in the arts. I want a job in the arts that's going to like not only sustain me, but fulfill me too. And I just kept putting it out there. And I put it out on LinkedIn, and someone, I guess, who used to work for the Milford Arts Council said, hey, Milford Arts Council's hiring. They're looking for a marketing and communications person. And I'd been doing a lot of social media marketing during COVID. I worked with a few climate change brands. One of the major ones was called 2030 or Bust. And I did a lot of work with him on a major campaign that went viral a few times.
Right.
So that helped me like get clout in terms of social media marketing. So that helped me get the job that I have now, which I'm basically responsible for their marketing communications, like their newsletters, their Instagram, their Facebook.
Right.
And we have a lot of different programming, like in terms of like having jazz concerts. We've got a local band series. We've got 2 theater companies that work with us, and we have our own dedicated visual arts gallery space called the Mac Firehouse Gallery. But
Wow.
I absolutely love the job. I'm able to work remote. Like if I need to go on site and have meetings, I can do that, and it affords me a lot of freedom. Like I recently went to New Orleans on another assignment with an agency called Drawing Booth that's based in New York. So I was able to go to the Milford Arts Council and say like, hey, like, would it be okay if I took on this other work? Because they do support my entrepreneurship as long as the work gets done, of course, which I make sure I'm able to do both.
Absolutely.
So even if I'm taking on other assignments where I'm traveling, I'm still pouring into the Milford Arts Council. Like I would take videos of jazz players on the street corners and share that with our Milford community
Right.
so that they would be able to get a taste of what I was experiencing in New Orleans. So everything just kind of like feeds in on itself. I'm able to like have entrepreneurship, sustain myself, and also give into this Milford arts community because there are so many people that don't know Milford has an arts council. Like it's right at the train station. You can get off the train and it's right there.
Really?
Like I'm just shouting it from rooftops. Go to the Milford Arts Council. Like we have so many amazing programs.
Oh, so there's no excuse.
There's really no excuse. Like you're on the train line, get on the Metro North, get off in the Milford Arts Council.
And just walk it. Wow.
You can just literally get off the train.
Well, it looks like we know what we're going to be doing.
I mean,
for real.
Come through.
not just us, many.
Come
This
through.
is not just for us. Oh my God.
But see, that's what's so super interesting, you know, is because people don't realize what is there for with the community, and a lot of these places are now turning more towards the arts aspect of it. It's always kind of been there, but especially after the pandemic and stuff like that, where people started to have to be home and sit with their issues, or also sit with their artistic hopes and dreams. You finally had time to do things, and you're like, hey, this makes me feel better. Let me go and do this, if nothing else, just to get my meditation in. And now some of those people have now done that and brought it into making a side hustle, or even further. My own cousin, has an incredible side hustle doing the cricket and doing shirts and stuff. And,
Nice.
She's rocking it out there in Michigan. So
Cool.
and you gotta love those different type of aspects. How did you know that the community of Milford had this, there? And did you actively look for it itself, or did you stumble across it?
I think it found me.
That's awesome.
I put it out into the universe. I'm looking for work. I'm looking for something fulfilling.
Right.
I'm looking to help build a community. And when I took on this job, I guess my thinking was I want to be that bridge between New Haven, where I work primarily as a creative entrepreneur, Milford, where I work for the Arts Council as my day job, and then West Haven, where I live with my wife.
Okay.
And I have a lot of friends in each place that I want to bring together under one roof. Like I just had a meeting with Hope from the New Haven Arts Council, who took over, the executive director, and the Milford Arts Council. My boss, Paige, who's the executive director there.
Okay.
And what I think one of the things I enjoy most about this job is bringing together these different networks, and just seeing how it plays out organically.
Well, and that's one of the key things. That's what we love about the show as well, because as we're sitting here, we're having these conversations, I'm thinking about the guests in which we have spoken to that have similar aspects of it, and how I can involve you, folk
that's
punk.
cool.
You and folk punk dad would be fantastic.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be really good.
You see what I'm
That'd be
saying?
really good.
Moving,
Yeah.
shaking, figuring it out.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most beautiful things that are out there, and that's what we talk about on the show all the time. Is networking is so super important.
It's
important.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
But networking genuinely.
Yeah.
Don't put on a face, don't put on anything like that. Just go out there and be yourself, and because sooner or later yourself's going to come out.
Yeah.
And I'd much rather them meet me here
Yeah.
than meet me, 3 years down the road when they're supposed to give me $150,000.
Right.
And then they're like, you want to know something? I don't like you $150,000 type of way. And that's fine. I might not be $150,000 type of taste. and I'm okay with that. So as you are continuing to grow and as you are continuing to be there, and obviously you're dealing with the youth aspect of it, which is super huge, huge. How are you also trying to word this question properly? How are you also making sure that your inkwell is filled for your creative and your entrepreneurship while you are dealing with the 9 to 5?
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Thank you.
And it's just pretty much like sometimes it's a 9 to 9. If I'm being honest,
Sometimes it's a 9
it
to
is what it
I'm
is.
here tomorrow.
Yeah. Because like it's marketing, and there's so
Yeah.
much that comes with marketing that I'm realizing I take on wholeheartedly. Where it's like, okay, I'm responsible for the newsletter that I got to work on today, and I got to make sure I post to Instagram and Facebook. And oh wait, we have a concert later, so I'm doing photography and video and then editing. So this job encompasses not only a lot, but I'm able to like wear all these hats and use all these different skill sets, because I don't advertise as much as like my art stuff or my fashion stuff, but I'm really into photography as well, and I'm honing that lens. My wife and I have a Canon Rebel that we use, and I'm shooting, and I'm looking at, okay, how can I shoot this jazz player from this angle? Or maybe if I just shoot the instruments, that'll be a great shot too. And then, do I want to edit in black and white or color? Do I want these to look vintage or whatever? So like all those things I'm thinking of when I'm getting on site for the job. So it's just like, I guess it's like 4 jobs in one sometimes.
Right.
So like the balance for me, I think, comes with if I have a remote day and Milford Arts Council knows I'm into entrepreneurial stuff as well. Like, okay, maybe I'll request having a meeting where I can go on site someplace else and then still do Milford Arts Council stuff too. So having that balance where I'm able to juggle. And then weekends, like I'm using up more of my weekends, probably like Saturday mornings, to work on some of the either children's books I have or some of the animation work that I'm doing. Because like I have a lot of different pieces that I'm trying to finish, and then also thinking like, okay, I want to display my artwork somewhere again, because it's digital, and I want to take it off the digital canvas to an actual canvas and have that balance.
Well, and that's this is where the idea monster comes through, and I apologize because
No, you're good.
I'm just
You're
going to
good.
idea
You're good.
dump a whole
You're
bunch of stuff.
good.
Taking some of those photographs, right?
Yeah.
Imagine in a world. You take that photograph of that jazz player, and you take that, and then you sketch it out.
Yeah.
And then you add your little style to it. And then you put that into a kid's book as per them seeing what the MAC is for the first time.
Yeah,
And now
exactly.
you have an introduction book into that, and blah, blah, blah. And now they all start to work into each other, and they all start to blend together,
Yeah.
very similar to painting.
Yeah,
Because the
exactly.
colors will blend at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah.
if you...
All about
if
that
you-
synergy.
Yeah, get that synergy going.
Yep.
Because... a lot of people always ask me, being a father and being a musician, how do you do both? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
You know, like
There's no explaining.
there's no,
Right.
I'm like, my kids know what I do. My kids know, sometimes dad goes to the studio, sometimes dad goes to this studio.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes dad needs to be locked in his room for 4 hours because,
Right, yeah.
because he's got 4 pre-records to do, and he also needs
Yep,
to
yep.
knock out what needs to be knocked out music wise and different things like that. And they've grown up in that type of atmosphere. But I've also had to teach them, I'm like, the life we live.
Yeah.
It's not a
exactly.
normal life, children.
No,
You
definitely
don't
not.
go into school on Monday and go, what do you mean dad didn't take you to the recording studio this weekend? I thought everyone's father took them to the recording studio.
Yeah.
No, that makes you sound ridiculous, and you're going to get your
Yeah.
butt kicked. Let's
Yeah,
not say
yeah,
that.
no.
Thank goodness they've been in art schools from middle school through high school, so it's a little bit more accepting.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah.
I remember when the Temptations played on the Green. One of our first summers out here. My kids
Yeah.
were like 4 years old.
Wow.
And
It was that long ago?
Yeah, it was that long ago.
Oh, my
I know.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
continue.
they're 14. They're 14
Yeah.
now. So they're 4 years old, and Miles tried
Yeah.
to run up backstage with the Temptations.
Oh, that's bad.
And security was like, no, you can't do that. He goes, it's okay, my dad does this. And I was like, not on this level, son, not on this level.
Wow,
you're gonna get
just
us
went
both
for it.
tased.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's adorable.
Well, you gotta thank
Yeah.
God that was then Temptations, because like the security guard differs depending on the artist.
Oh yeah, no. If that was salt and pepper, we were done.
It would have been different.
Oh,
It would have been
yeah.
a whole different
Yeah.
environment
Yeah.
scenario.
But that's one of those key things. Now, as you're going, I'm not being like the aunties and the uncles, but are you also doing the family planning aspect of it, and how are you going to try to incorporate that in there, or are you guys good with just the other lives in which you're touching through Milford Arts and different things like that?
Well, my wife has a daughter from a previous
Right.
relationship, and I'm taking her on as my kid as well. Like, we were just in Boston, actually. She plays for the Emmanuel Saints.
Oh,
And she's phenomenal. Like, she's just crushing it. So it's that balance where we have these conversations like, okay, we need to get a hotel for Boston. We need to make sure we're here at this certain time, and we're going to go out after dinner and celebrate her after the game and everything. So it's all about that balance. And I work at bringing both my wife and my daughter into it as well. When I was working, this was before the Milford Arts Council. I was working at Art Space New Haven for one of their campaigns for Citywide Open Studios, which they rebranded as Open Source. And one of the things we did for social media was have like a little news program introducing the events for the week. And I was like, okay, who would be good for that? And I thought of my daughter, because she's not only going to school to play basketball, but she's majoring in communications. So that's what she wants to do anyway. So I had her
That's
come
awesome.
in and then read some lines for it, and then she got that role, she got paid for it and everything, and like she killed it. So like there's just a way to again create that synergy where it's like, okay, you want to do communications, we're looking for communications with the social media stuff I'm doing, how can we have it all work together? And then with my wife, like, we do tons of events together. Like, she has a birthday coming up, and we're turning that into like a kind of piggybacking off a music showcase at Jazzy's Cabaret. So like we're doing all these things, and they're just like fitting together so well.
Oh, so well on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime with the nice yellow shirt. His name is EZ Blues. Raheem Nelson is with us. And just with all the great information you were telling us throughout this broadcast, were those examples shown when you were recently at Known in New Haven? Just giving your entrepreneurship
I do
advice,
wanna
just
shout
different
out
people.
Known and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a Thirsty Thursday event at Known,
Nice.
talking about entrepreneurship and stuff.
Mhm.
And I was commissioned by Known to create this infographic.
Ooh.
And the starting point was off of a piece I did for the city, the Department of Arts, Culture, and Tourism.
Yeah.
So it started with this banner on the bottom,
Okay.
and I kind of added on to it. The Palladium building is where Known is housed, and that's on Orange Street. And then having these different blurbs about what Known is about. They have a program specifically aimed at BIPOC entrepreneurs called Knownpreneurs.
That's wonderful.
And my goal working with the founder of Known, Juan, was coming up with this messaging that would reflect back on their value system. So I'm proud to say, like, you get off the elevator, when you go into the Palladium building, you see Known, this is to your left. They had, I had this printed out for them on canvas. So it's meant to inspire everybody that is there doing their entrepreneurship thing, and with the cohort as well. So this is on display now, permanent fixture at Known, and just like super proud to, be giving back to the community, having this piece that is, seen by the different members there too.
Shout out to Julia Gamble, too. We had her on the show.
Oh, yeah,
she's
the
a
best.
great personality and amazing human being.
Definitely.
And I love it how in detailed he is just with his drawings. Easy. It's so like
Well, no, it's
it's
so
definitely
interesting.
like you see it like to the T.
Well, no.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm always gonna love the
Yeah.
New Haven skyline, because
Yeah.
that's one of the things that we're trying to incorporate, like in some of our shirt designs and different
Cool.
things like that. kind of have like the New Haven skyline and then the Shane Penguin symbol, so it look like the bat symbol.
Yeah,
Because I
definitely.
think that's funny.
Yeah, it is.
But what's super interesting is you have all the arrows, because you're literally showing the people the steps on how to accomplish things from
Yes,
point A to point B to point C.
yeah.
And a lot of people don't know. A
Right.
lot of people don't know that you can apply for grants to make sure that your radio show is still rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that you can apply for grants to make sure that you have the paints that are necessary.
Yeah.
Or you can keep the Wi-Fi on because Wi-Fi is important.
Yeah,
You know?
got to be connected.
Well, I only make that joke because Wi-Fi hates us. Anytime we start talking about really important things, someone
Yeah.
drops off.
Oh man.
See,
Like,
sometimes
not trying to hear this.
it's one or the other. It's either the platform or I don't know, but we can talk on and on all day about this. I don't want my trauma to be reflecting the energy that we have here right now because I think it's positive. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, you don't want a trauma bomb?
Listen, I'm pretty sure Raheem has a lot more electronical trauma than the both of us combined with NFTs, working with children, teaching them about this technology. Back and forth. It's a battle. It's an endless game of just pull.
And like we said in the last segment, which I think we kind of like brushed through on it, you got called back to do the NFT thing this coming year, right? So you're once again going to have your artwork in
NFT NYC,
Yeah,
man.
it hasn't necessarily been announced formally for the Times Square thing, but I would imagine since I'm a speaker, and I'll show the piece that is going to be in the show. So huge hip hop head, definitely big fan of the 90s. I did this piece on Nas.
Oh, wow.
And it's inspired by his King's Disease run that he's been doing with Hit Boy.
Oh, yeah.
And I consider it like the brother piece to the Solange piece I did, because it also integrates a halo, showing him as king, his place in hip-hop legacy. So this was the piece that was selected for NFT NYC.
Now, question, what is the actual title?
It's called King Nas.
King Nas? Because I was going to say Naspolian.
That works. Love it. Might have to do a dual name kind of thing. That is awesome.
Yo.
Good stuff.
I'm just saying.
That's great. I like
Yo,
The
you're
new
not
Napoleon
saying, you're
movies.
stating. That's a different thing.
The
like
Napoleon
it.
movie's coming out.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
let's get it. I also love the fact that we talked about Basquiat being one of your influences,
Yep.
and here we see a very similar Basquiat crown.
Yes.
Sitting in the exact spot where you'll see the Basquiat crown sitting.
Exactly.
So I see it. I see you. I recognize it.
seen.
And I happen to love Basquiat as well.
Yeah, me
just
too.
because I also love any artist that's going to break the law.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nah. I'm with this. I totally am. And just the pictures that we've been seeing is just really incredible.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. What artwork has surprised you when it just comes to people just under you? Just people looking up to you, like with these kids and with these prospective prospects when it just comes to art for the future. Like, what stuff have you seen? Like, you were just amazed out of just the individual that just came out of your teachings.
Oh, like from some of my students.
Yeah.
Who are your proteges?
I would say I've always been impressed by the cartooning work that my students have done.
Okay.
Just the level of storytelling and them like really taking on the teachings and then making their own. It's like, wow, like you've got a whole story just that you've created in like these few classes we've done.
Yeah.
So that's always been cool. And then actually really enjoy doing still life workshops with kids and just seeing them kind of like sit and be in Zen mode real quick and not like doing all these other million things.
Yeah.
Like drawing from life and studying because that was still really impactful for me.
Of course.
And then being able to pass that on to them and then just seeing them kind of be in like a meditative state. And it's just really cool to see them, I guess, I don't want to say like, I guess kind of like detached from social media, number one.
Right.
That's a huge thing. And then do something that's just going to kind of bring them to like the Zen-like state. Like, I think that has been like super rewarding. And then just seeing them kind of work out things like anatomy and proportions and perspective and struggling with that for a while in college and then being able to take the lessons I've learned and pass that on so it's easier for them.
Well, and that's one of the true keys is, you know, we say it all the time in music. You know, we look at ourselves as we try to be like Mega Man.
Yeah.
You know, we'll learn a cover song just to learn the tricks from that artist,
Right.
And then we'll incorporate that in our songwriting. You know, moving forward and moving back, and that's exactly what the art world is.
Yeah.
You know, because all original paintings have already been done, just like
Yeah.
all original music has already been
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
Right.
All you have is your own perspective.
Yes.
To throw on there.
Yep.
And now you're out there and not only giving your perspective, but you're giving the opportunity for other people's perspectives to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And that truly is the fullest circle of all arts.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
I once had a guitar teacher that said, once you stop learning, you stop being a musician.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with any type of art, whether you're a poet, whether you're, you know, or you're a visual artist. You know, if you stop learning, if you stop craving that next, I don't want to say fix because that just sounds wrong.
I hear you. I know what you mean, though.
You know,
yeah.
but you crave that next outlet,
Yeah.
that next thing that's just going to be so amazing, and whether it be just for that Zen aspect, you know, because look, we have a really busy world around us that
Yeah.
spins and
Yeah.
especially with social media and does all this crazy things. When you can sit down, whether it be for 5 minutes or 35 minutes, and you can just get those ideas out, it is such a beautiful aspect of it. How are you making sure that you're finding that time? I know you do it on your Saturdays,
Yeah.
and that's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like we're kind of kindred spirits. So you get
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
you
get
get
it.
that 2 a.m. I can't
Yeah,
sleep.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
All
just
right.
had it last night.
Yeah,
Oh, my
all right.
God.
That's why everybody
Such a
in the
thing.
studio has coffee right now.
Yeah.
Just cheers.
Cheers
We're
to
also,
that.
I think we're also all out of coffee right now.
Oh, you're
Gotta
out of
re-up.
coffee.
Oh, well, hey, look here, Lipton sipping guy. I'm sorry, we're all grown drinking coffee. You're over here with your sippy cup.
Listen, I'm responsible with the beverage, okay?
Yeah, there's a whole story with that, too. I think I didn't really start drinking coffee till, like, I don't know, like maybe 2 years ago. And it started with me, like,
Oh, wow.
traveling places. Like, okay, I'll try it, whatever. Like, getting French coffee, getting Cuban coffee.
Oh,
like, all
man,
right, like,
yo, Cuban
I need
coffee
to
is
drink some
something
coffee.
else,
Like,
bro.
This is amazing.
You
Then
had me at
getting that,
Cuban.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so good.
whew.
And getting that burst of energy.
Yeah.
And I don't add anything in my coffee or whatever. I just have it black. So, like, I just have to have it where it's in a way where it's going to sustain my creativity. And it also helps, like, I love to weightlift and do all these other stuff. So I need to keep my energy up.
Right.
So it's like, what's going to enable me to do that? So, you know, I love having different types of coffee. You know, I will either get it out or at a cafe, or like I have a French press at home. So I do that too. And what I've been doing is there's this brand called Black and Bold.
Gotcha.
And they are a black-owned coffee brand and everything. So I've been, you know, not only getting coffee, but getting coffee that's going to, like, support a good cause, like
Right.
a black-owned coffee brand. So, like, it feels good to have it. It tastes good. You know, it's bold, flavorful. So I try to think, like, with really whatever I buy, like, how's it going to support an entrepreneur or an artist?
But what's not good, though, is we're running time's a little bit short for the broadcast. Raheem, it's always great having you on.
Yeah, this is my pleasure.
But these last couple minutes, we always want to give the time to you. And Easy, I'm very sorry. We'll get him on again. Either, you know, foreseeable future.
It has to happen.
It has to happen.
I'll come back.
Because you're turning red.
New-
And I don't like it when you turn red.
New friends.
I really don't like it when you turn
Yeah,
red.
definitely.
Because I
I
know
love
you want to
making
get
new
some
friends.
off your chest.
New
But, you know,
friends.
Yeah.
this time is for Raheem. Please plug anything you want to plug. Anything for people to reach you out from.
Sure.
And one thing that you're grateful for, either professional or personal. This time is yours. Go right ahead.
Great. So if you go to my website at raheemnelson.com, that basically connects you to everything in terms of the artwork, the NFT stuff. I even have a blog I'm working on. Check me out on this app called Flipboard.
Right.
It's about editorials and kind of giving creatives a space where they can take news from the web and just kind of put it out there. They're featuring my editorial that I did on my travels to Havana a few years ago. So I created journal entries for each day that I was there, just because it was fun and also like a safety measure, just in case they stopped me at the airport. But I was able to take that along with some photojournalism. So you can pretty much check out, I think it's like a blog post series of 8 That's
Right.
on Flipboard. So definitely find me on Flipboard, Raheem Nelson. And then on Instagram, it's at Raheem Nelson Art.
That's simple
You can
enough.
see all my videos and stuff like that, all of my posts. And then check me out at Raheem Nelson Style stuff. And then at Raheem Nelson Photo. And I'm doing all the photos I've taken this year have been strictly in black and white. I'm kind of
nice.
challenging myself to do that.
Oh, cool.
And then next year I will go back to color.
Oh,
And I am grateful for my wife. I have to shout her out, Raisha Bivens. She's a creative entrepreneur. She's a therapist, and she has brands for supporting artists. We're working on a tour to Ghana where we're going to help send entrepreneurs to Ghana to connect with their roots. So we're super excited about that too.
And I'm super excited to have you here for our first live show here at the studio. Behind the brand, myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, EZ BlueZ is in the building. Raheem, we appreciate you and thank you so much on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, New Haven.
I wanna go outside. I wanna go outside. So many folks I've had to ghost. Negative ones the most. The seconds wasted. Never returned. I'm spaceship dreaming of landing home. I'm not alone. Even now